A lot of people today who are working in music don't work out of commercial facilities. I want to talk about something that a lot of people think about. It's probably on your mind. The fact that when you have clients come to your studio, maybe you don't think they're impressed by your studio. Maybe it's a second bedroom of your house, your apartment, your living room that you're working in. Could be some space that you don't think is the ideal space that someone who was good would be working in. And because you're someone who's aspiring to be great, you're worried that you don't get enough clients because of that. You can't do the stuff you want because every time people show up, you just sense something that it makes you feel bad, that you feel like you're not enough. And you kind of trickle that down and they believe that. Then they start to feel that, even if you don't say anything, that this isn't a professional environment. Maybe they don't treat you as well because of that. Maybe they don't, want to work with you again. Let me just say this. Anybody who's feeling bad about the place they're in and how they have to work because of their circumstances, what they can afford, how they're living, if you feel bad about how you're working, you should think about it this way. If you were to win the lottery tomorrow and you had millions of dollars, and now you chose to work out of the second bedroom in your house or apartment or your living room, you chose to work there, and somebody came to work with you and they didn't like that it wasn't as, commercial or professional of a studio as they would have thought you had or something, and they decided not to work with you, would that bother you? Most people, I think, would say, if I have $1 million from winning the lottery, no, it wouldn't bother me at all. So what I want you to realize is what changed. Granted, now you have money. Before you didn't. But I think it's deeper than that. I think it's actually you and your opinion of yourself, now that you have money, makes you feel different. Now you feel like you're somebody, even though all you did was get lucky. All you did was get lucky. The lottery, you won. Now you feel like you're somebody. Maybe you were always somebody, and maybe the people who don't want to work with you in whatever circumstance you're in, maybe they don't deserve to work with you. Maybe you're better than those people. You don't need to work with them. Let them go work with somebody else who they're comfortable working in because it's a more professional environment. But maybe you're way better for the job. And maybe you one day will have the commercial space you dream of or the mansion you desire or whatever it is. And that's where your studio will be. And that person won't be near that. They won't be close to being able to achieve that, because they didn't have the ability and the foresight to see how good you were. You should realize, just because you get lucky and win the lottery does not mean now you are worth something. You are worth something prior to that. And if you just look at it like you already won the lottery, when somebody asks you that, you just say, yeah, I choose to work here because this is easy for me. You say anything you want. Don't let it affect you, how they're thinking, and whether or not you might lose a client here or there because of the environment you're in. What that would basically be doing is allowing people's perception, what you determine they're thinking, to influence your decisions. And a lot of people in the music business do this. A lot of people overextend themselves. They get a commercial space they can't afford. Maybe they take loans out. They do all sorts of stuff to be able to give off the image that they're better than they are. When, if you really think about it, they are as good as they are no matter where they're situated. That doesn't matter if they're in a commercial facility that looks like a professional studio or not. As long as they can get the job done, which means, some technical things might need to be right. Like you got to have your room treated if you're going to hear well enough to make a professional mix. It's got to be either that, or you have to be wearing headphones so you take the room out of it. There's just, and if you don't have your room treated, you may have a really bad standing wave somewhere that makes it where now you got to really compensate for whatever it is you're missing in the room or you're hearing too much of. So it makes it hard to physically do that if you don't take any pains or, into improving your listening environment. But like I said, there's ways around it. A lot of people mix in headphones today, which completely takes the room out of the equation. And now you might be able to get it done without doing all that. So This is personal taste, what you can do or not do. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally can't stand mixing in headphones, and I'm constantly trying to figure out ways to do it. Can openers on my list of doing stuff to figure out if I like it and can handle headphones, but you know, the verdict's out still at the moment on that. But let me say this, that perception thing will ruin you, and because it will make you make decisions based on what other people are thinking. And I got news for you, they might not even be thinking that. There's a lot of times we interpret what people are thinking, and when they don't tell us what they're thinking, we just interpret it, and based on our own insecurities and our own, issues that we have about what we think is bad or good about our environment, what we would like to change, but we don't have the money to, or whatever, we let that bleed into what we think, and then we just we're basically, it's like Inception. We're putting the thought that we think in their head just because we're thinking it. It's not true. Like, it's not true that that's inside their head, that they're thinking that. So we're over here, got to do everything we got to do. It's hard enough. And then we take our insecurities and it just makes everything harder. So my point is, eliminate what's not real. If you could win the lottery and not care what someone says about where you work, then that's not a real concern. That's not something that is an objective truth of this is the truth. People who work out of their living room can't possibly be successful. That's not true. And you might actually get clients who will go wherever you are if you are somebody who offers them something special. So if you have the talent, if you have the work ethic, if you have the drive to keep going and pursuing what you want, you may get all the skills you need, and you acquire all that to do something really special for whoever you work with. And it could be anywhere, including another room in your apartment or in your living room. It doesn't matter. What you bring to the table is you, and eliminate all that nonsense, and it will allow you to actually think straight. Otherwise, you wind up focusing on things that don't matter. And you put a lot of emphasis and time into focusing on a lot of things that don't matter. When the truth of the matter is, you need to be great, you need to be dedicated, and you need to work every day if it's something you really want. Now, that could be just to get better, or it could be to actually go, to become somebody who's at the top level of the music industry. There's no right or wrong. It could just be someone who wants to get better. And if that's the case, the work ethic's the way to go. And get rid of those ridiculous thoughts. Just picture yourself as someone who won the lottery, and it won't bother you. It's amazing how that is. And just let that lead you down mentally to where you need to be, where this isn't something that matters. This person doesn't know if I won the lottery or not. Maybe I won the lottery. Maybe I'm a millionaire and I choose to work here. Let that sink in. That's the belief. Once you have that, you'll exude a different kind of confidence, and they probably won't even care where they are, or they will, and then you didn't need to work with them anyway, okay? You guys got this. Keep this stuff in mind. Leave a comment. I really appreciate it. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Take it easy.